We are live. Welcome to R&M Productions. It is 6:34 p.m. and I see a lot of people in the chat already. So, how's everybody doing? If anyone is in the path of that nasty, awful hurricane, I know Florida's getting just wrecked. I hope everybody's safe. Let's see who we have here. Hi, Jenny. That is so sweet, Jenny. We're proud to have all of you. Couldn't do anything that we are doing without everybody who helps us out, which means all of you people here tonight. I can see you, Criminal Network. Don't panic. Criminal Network has trauma from his shadow ban. Woman doing impossible things says, I'm here, I'm still queer. We love that. You're in good company. I harass Governor Holcomb and Attorney General Rakita Daly on Facebook. I'm glad I'm not shadow banned here again. Are you shadow banned on Facebook? I know Facebook jail is like, they don't mess around on Facebook. Well, I don't know if that's true. Hi, Scully. Tammy. Hello, Tammy. He's higher than eagle titties. Love that. Woman doing impossible things. Veronica's here. We are all here. Haters gonna hate, ballers gonna ball. Make sure you all have gone potty, got your beverages and snacks. It's good advice. Pimp's gonna pimp. Criminal Network just pimp slapped the like button. Oh, that reminds me. Thank you, Criminal Network. Please subscribe if you haven't. I forget all the time to subscribe to channels that I watch regularly. And we've been stuck at like 3,900 and something for like 6 months because I don't plug enough. So make sure you're subscribed. Bully your family members into doing the same. What the fuck is that tweet about? Maps. Fiend, I think I know what you're talking about. Did I clap about that one? Is that the one I just clapped at? Let me know. Gatorade, Uncrustables, God Bud Cart, all the cool kids. Love that. Jen says maps. Woman says Pop-Tarts. Cock-Tarts. Fan fiction imagining Rick Allen is already convicted. He's going to draw maps of the crime scene for the jurors. Yeah, that's the one I clapped at, Fiend. It's redonkulous. I don't know if it's that the media really genuinely doesn't understand how anything works or if it's like intentional misreporting. I think we probably know the answer. Hey, Dean. Good to see you. Jen, I think I said hi, Jen, but if I missed you, hi. Post-punk mom is here, lurking, making dinner. DB will be here eventually to thank you and all the hardworking moms, even if you're not a mom or hardworking, he'll still thank you for making dinner. Hey, Jancy. Hello and good afternoon, evening to everyone. Royal Wheat making spaghetti. Love that. Hot Pocket says good evening. Hey, Hot Pocket. I think I'm getting close to the bottom. Teary, hi, Teary. Hello, love. So good to see you. Catastrophe. McCool Cat. Missy's Angels. Hello, Angel. Nobody Nothing. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Kayla. Oh my gosh, everybody's here. Just a Bloke is here. Hello. Hi, Mar. Sweet Mar. Sweet Mar. Judge Jessica. Digital. Hammy's here. Hi, Hammy. Hammy was actually the inspiration for what we're going to cover in the beginning of this live. There he is, right on time. Have no fear. DB's here. Heather Brown, hello, beautiful. And Aaron Town. What do you know about that? Okay, so 19 days from trial. Trial in 19 days. That feels so soon. Hi, Christy Sharp and Thomas Scott. So I figured it'd probably be good. Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea. Has long to cook noodles. I figured it would probably be good for us to talk about really quick, like, crash course review of all the different players. I think Hammy left a comment on the community post that I shared where I basically was like, what should we talk about for the next 3 weeks? What do we feel like we need to review or revisit? What do we want to talk about? Hey, Rebecca Ann. And I think Hammy said something along the lines of like, could we go back over the like investigators or basically like who's investigating what? Hey, Kathy. Mandy, baby. Hi, Mandy. So I think that's a really good idea because it actually sparked a lot of questions. I thought that I had a good handle on who's who and whose role is what. But Hammy says, I feel cool. Well, you are cool. That's why I really like getting like feedback from y'all, which is why I really like our chat. Hey, Jancy again. Oh, I already said hi, but hi again. Because it distracts me and that annoys, some people who are watching. I get that. But I really am most of what we've done has been like a communal effort. And I think that's like obvious. I think we all would agree with that. DB's quite okay. Well, good, because I'm hoping DB you can answer some questions maybe that I have later. But T is here. Hi T, I miss you. Love you. Miss you so much. So happy you're here. You're welcome anytime, by the way, T. Hi Estrella. Still fairly new to the case. That's perfect because we want people to follow and we want people to be informed. And I'm gonna like try to be as measured and unbiased as possible, at least for the first part while I'm going through who everybody is, trying to keep it very fact-based because I do want people to understand and I don't want to, bully people into, well, I don't know if that's true. I would love to bully people into caring about justice. T says, I was super sick last week, but I'm so much better. Good. Veronica, I'm so sorry. I changed a setting. I did the most minimal ever. I don't know what to tell you. Gotta make that bag, I guess, but I love you. Don't leave me. Laundry is folded, says Fiend. Yeah, we're all very glad that you're better, T. We certainly need you around. DB broke it. Probably. Joining the Delphi murder case late, being relatively new, probably feels like jumping into a show season 5. That's so true. Okay, so made a little thing. I made a thingy, as Michael Osberg, our dear friend, would say. Hey, hi, Dommy. Crux Me says, from the UK. Don't have too much criminal legal knowledge here, but have been constantly surprised at the brazen corruption going on in Delphi. You and me both, Crux Me. Cleveland Rocks is here. Every time Cleveland Rocks joins, I think of Happiness, Purple, and Timothy Chalamet are the 3 things that come to mind. All right. Let's go. Love that, T. We will be there with bells on. Hey, Scott. You're a crank machine. Sure are. Luke is here. Thank God. Hello, Luke. And hey, Jojo. I'm going to stop saying hi for a minute so I can do what we're going to do. Oh, God. The plus sign is going rogue again, y'all. I don't know what we're going to do. I just don't know. I even disabled. I did everything that one would think would help. And here we are. Did not help. Okay. Can we all see this? Wonderful, beautiful, glorious. Actually, I think I want to do, maybe I want to open it like this. Maybe. I don't know. Do y'all like this better or what I had before? I know DB is going to complain it's not dark mode, so it might, the other one might be better. Is that better? My eyes. They do love this picture. Yeah, don't triangulate, DB. Gross. Actually, you can. Sometimes it's fun. 3 overstuffed sausage links. I saw a comment I wanted to pin and I lost it. Fuck. Okay, I'll find it. I'll come back to it. Hey, CW, the closer it gets to trial, the more anxious I get about the case. I really think the fix is in. Yeah, I would have to agree with you, but I don't know. I think that there's still a case to be made for. Well, I think it's going to be harder than the state. I don't know what I think. I have no idea. Okay, so crash course overview. Who is who of the Delphi murder investigation? So the boys, as they like to be called, are part of the Unified Command Task Force. So we're going to call it the... Oh, I don't have my thing plugged in. Motherfucker. Hi, Ems! We're going to call it the UTC because that's what they like to be called, and it's just an easy abbreviation. So the Unified Command Task Force is made up of, they say it's an interagency, multi-agency task force. So we have the Carroll County Sheriff's Office are the lead and always have been the lead, regardless of what anybody tries to tell you. The Carroll County Sheriff's Office has always had primary jurisdiction over the case. They have always been the lead agency. They are making all of the decisions. They are in charge. That means things. It's layered, but that's just an easy kind of overview. Hi, Christine Beck and Christy Sharp. Okay. So the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, the investigative team in that department is Tony Liggett, Tobe Lesenby, and Kevin Hammond. There they are. So for starters, I didn't do this in any order, so don't read into it. But we've got Tony Liggett. Look at that handsome mug. Doesn't that just look like a guy who's just like really happy to be around and just involved? He just looks like he's just ready to jump up and help, you know? So Tony Liggett is the current sheriff of Carroll County. He was elected sheriff in November of 2022, and he is the sitting sheriff to this day. He started out as a deputy with Carroll County Sheriff's Department and was actually made detective in September of 2016. So he was only a detective for not even a year when the Delphi murders took place. So he was fairly new to being a detective at the time. He was the second in command from the time the murders occurred until September 2021, in which case he was made the lead detective for the Unified Command Task Force, and he is still the lead detective, even though he is also the sheriff. We'll get into that later. Tony Liggett ran for sheriff. It was one of the only contested races, I think, in the county that election cycle. Most people here probably know it was there's some drama with that, but anyway, Rick Allen is arrested a week before the sheriff's election. Not saying it means anything, I'm just saying. And then we've got everyone's favorite bald-headed guy, Tobe Lesenby. Tobe Lesenby was the sheriff of Carroll County when the murders occurred. He was elected or appointed. I don't know if he was appointed or elected. I think he was elected in 2014 as sheriff, ran again in 2018, and has been he served 2 terms. What's interesting is that when Tony Liggett was elected in November 22, Tobe Lesenby went from being the sheriff to being the second in command below Tony Liggett. So he went from being sheriff to chief deputy, which is a role that he is that he holds today. Mar says, why do I confuse the two? Probably because they're both bald-headed dweebs. That's probably why. I mean, look at this picture, Mar. Don't be too hard on yourself. They're pretty much a copy pasta of the same person. Just one's in a hat, one has a little bit of hair. But aside from that, I mean, this guy's sleeves are a little long, but okay. Next up, third member of the Carroll County Sheriff's Department branch of the task force is Detective Kevin Hammond. Kevin Hammond retired in September 2021 very suddenly. He was planning to run for sheriff. Don't know what went on. Let's just say unexpected health stuff. But there's some drama associated with his resignation as well. He was planning to run for sheriff, and then Tony kind of swept in and got all of the support. So Missy says, please tell me they're all single. You know, I think they're all spoken for, unfortunately, Missy, but I don't know if that should necessarily be an impediment. I hear that there's, there's rumors. So something to do with pineapples. I don't know. So anyway, Kevin Hammond was the lead detective for the Delphi Unified Command Task Force from the day the girls went missing, February 2017, until he retired in 2021, in which case Tony Liggett assumed role of lead detective on the case. But Kevin Hammond was a detective for years before that. Next up, we have the Indiana State Police branch of the Unified Command Task Force. So we've got, look at these dorks. Okay. David Vito, ISP, David Vito. ISP, Jerry Holman. ISP, Jay Harper. Starting with, there's question marks because I have questions. So I'm hoping that the chat can help me fill some of this in, or, eventually, if not today, we can get a better picture of some of the dates. But Indiana's so cheap they have to share one. Amazing the number of people that retired after the girls were found. Yeah. True. My Delphi cuffs. Can we get a list of those blocked? I don't have many people blocked, I don't think. If you're blocked, you probably did something to get blocked, but I don't think I have many people blocked. Okay. David Vito. He is a Indiana State Police trooper. He joined the Indiana State Police as a trooper in 2014. He also joined the West Lafayette Police Department in 2017. And I don't know if he was like a patrol officer or a detective. He probably was a detective. I have to look into that. But I did find, hey Matt, I love you. I did find a post where he, he's definitely with West Lafayette Police Department in some capacity, but also ISP. So anyway, I don't know if he's still with West Lafayette. This is him being, given a thingy as he joins in 2017. But this is a little bit of an area of confusion of mine. Not really confusion, but so we're told via the Franks memo and Jerry Holman on the stand and a couple other people that David Vito joined the Unified Command Task Force in March of 2022. Fine. But, oops. This is really bright, huh? Nope, that's not what I wanted. Where the frick? Aha, okay. So this is an excerpt from one of those, how they'll do like the ISP roadshow where they're all like sitting around a really tiny circle table in front of a microphone and talking to the police about random shit. So this was an episode, I think, from January 2020. Members of the Indiana State Police participated in an interview with the ISP Roadshow talking about Delphi and Flora. Doug Carter says, "I've said all along, once we finish, we're going to start all over again. I don't believe in cold cases," which is funny because it's like not like they're Bigfoot. Like they exist. They're real. I don't know what I don't believe in cold cases means, but with technology today, the way in which human beings communicate today, and with the interaction, he didn't finish that thought. He said, "I remember Jerry Holman and the sheriff in Carroll County saying, once we're all done, we're going to start all over. That's exactly what we'll do." And John whatever says, "Absolutely. I can tell you First Sergeant Jerry Holman has kind of led this investigation that has so many incredible people involved. But I can assure you there's not a day goes by that he doesn't do something with this case." And Doug Carter says, "Oh gosh, yes." Phone calls, emails, reviewing evidence. He's still almost 3 years later, still actively involved in this investigation. And Doug Carter chimes in, "As is Jay Harper, who's one of my classmates. He's been on the department for 35 years. A young trooper we assigned there, David Vito. A tremendous opportunity for him to experience something of this magnitude. This is one of those cases that very few agencies in the country could handle. So we've had lots of partners. Carroll County. Well, we're not even the lead agency, not on paper. They have to correct that. We're not in charge." And Doug Carter says, "That's correct. That's right. Although we kind of assume the perception of that. The Carroll County Sheriff's Department is heading this up, and we're getting assistance from the FBI, all the federal agencies, all of them, apparently. We've had hundreds of people here from the ISP involved in this, and we'll continue to it for as long as I'm here." John Perrin, I don't know how to say it. He was what was he? Public relations or spokesperson of some sort for ISP, like public relation person. I don't remember the title. But so Doug Carter is obviously, he mentions his classmate and friend Jay Harper, who's involved with the case, but he also mentions a young trooper, David Vito. So obviously David Vito was working on the Delphi case in 2020 for Doug Carter to know him by name. Which kind of calls into question when he actually joined the task force. But okay, they've said both 2022 and 2020. Sounds like he took a pretty active role in March 2022. He was very involved in the Keegan Klein investigation. He's like in that list of witnesses for Keegan's like trial at the time when they were doing a trial. David Vito was listed as number 1. And then following Vito was Brian Harshman. Who else? It doesn't matter. Anyway, so that's David Vito. He's with ISP, maybe with West Lafayette. And he was very much entrenched in the Keegan angle. He interviewed Kathy Allen. That's all I'm going to say about that right now. He interviewed Kathy Allen on the 26th at the police department. And I've been trolling him for years. And I will continue to do so. Next up, my favorite criminal lieutenant, Indiana State Police Detective Sergeant Lieutenant Jerome Holman. Let's give it up for Jerome Holman. Love this guy. Love Jerry. Jerry's been with ISP. He was honorably discharged from the U.S. Marine Corps in 2098. I don't know, around then. He's been with ISP since 2001. He was a trooper, detective, he was sergeant, and he was made lieutenant, promoted to ISP lieutenant March 21st, 2024. Mere days after he got on the stand at a contempt hearing and lied through his fucking teeth. Under oath. Not Judge Gold. Superintendent Doug Carter said, you know what? You're doing a really good job. And we're really proud of you. And we're going to make you lieutenant because we're going to give you even more responsibility and more trust because you'd never do anything untoward or abuse your power to violate the rights of citizens and non-citizens. He joined the Unified Command Task Force, the Delphi Murder Task Force, the day the girls were found on February 14th, 2017. He, in his own words, has said he heard it over his radio because he was working, I think he was at the Lafayette Police Post for ISP, heard it over his scanner and said, I want to get in on that. So he joined the Unified Command Task Force as the ISP detective, lead detective for the ISP arm of the task force. Very early on, he invited himself in. He attended the FBI National Academy in December 2017. I've trolled him for that. DB has corrected me and told me it is, in fact, an impressive achievement to go through the FBI National Academy. So, good for Holman. There was something else I was going to say about Holman. He's been very involved in, he spent a lot of time at Westfield Correctional Facility. So, he has very much been actively involved in the collection of evidence. Amongst police, it is a prestigious accomplishment. Matt Sullivan says, we're looking for a guy who lived in Delphi. It might have been to Delphi. Might have worked there or didn't. He might have walked his dog nearby or owned a cat in and around Carroll County or in Indiana. I also got a toy in my Happy Meal. Good. You deserve that. Holman looks like Lumpy and like That's good. That's pretty good. Okay. Any questions on Holman? We'll come back to all these fuckers. Jay Harper, Doug Carter's buddy and classmate. So he's been with ISP. I don't actually know if or when he retired. I feel like he did retire, but I can't find any proof of that. So maybe he's not retired. But he's been there at least 36 years. So he's been with ISP forever. Jancy says these guys are gonna make Canton cops look good by comparison. Hi, friend.
Over, buddy.
What?
What's that little thing down there they're handing to each other?
This is a certificate. Oh, this is a certificate for safe driving. Isn't that adorable?
Oh, that's nice. What about the thing in their hand, the other hand? What is that?
It looks like I think it's a set of car
Unspent round?
Oh, it could be an unspent round, actually. It probably is an unspent round, now that I'm looking at it.
A key to the city, aka a big old rock.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How am I doing so far?
You're doing excellent. I think you are a great host, and you are a real orator of truth here, and we appreciate you.
Cool beans. All right. Just making sure. Thank you for those words of affirmation. Yeah, I don't know what I think he's handing him keys. I don't know if it's a car, if it's like a symbolic thing because he's a safe driver. So he's getting an award for safe driving. But
yeah. Siri, what does orator mean? Oh, sorry, I was off mute.
So Harper's old. He's Carter's age. It's interesting that Harper has been leading the investigation since 2017. I wonder how he got that role. I imagine Carter had something to do with it. Isn't that a safe bet? I think. But anyway, he's been a detective forever. There he is. He looks really happy. Actually, he looks not so happy in this picture. He looks really happy in this one, though. In this picture, he looks like a nice guy, doesn't he? He looks like a nice.
I think when they say 36 years, like it does seem like quite the achievement, but sometimes they'll like say I think they said I seen a bio one time of Mullen, and it said 40 years. Hey, do something else.
Yeah.
You're not a Supreme Court justice.
Right.
Don't work until you're 90.
Yeah. For real. Hi, Sleuthy.
Nobody needs you, bro. Like, you don't need a public servant working 36 years.
It's a really long time. It's
that
a
is
little
an incredibly long
especially
time.
with like the same. Like he's been wearing that fucking hat for 36 years, you know? It's a long time.
I mean, if they hate their wife and kids, like, well, no problem. I get that. But, take up other hobbies that men like.
Golfing?
Like golfing. Like masculine hobbies like golfing.
Ham radio.
That's right.
He looks like a guy. He looks like he would do like.
He would be into ham radio for sure.
Yeah, he would love ham radio. He probably actually is in ham radio. I could look it up after this. It's public. You have to register with the FCC. Did you know that?
I did. I didn't know that, but that is information that I do know. Thanks to you saying that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I have a lot
more.
You
say FTC or FCC?
FCC. Yeah,
because the FCC won't let me be.
Yeah, I know.
Or let me be DB on TV.
I know. We've all written to them though about that.
Okay, well, good. I appreciate that.
Hi, Linda Kay.
So golf, ham radio.
Golf, ham radio. What other hobbies should Jay Harper invest his time into?
Well, I'm only talking about masculine hobbies, right? Golf, ham radio, woodworking, metalworking.
Yeah, metal, wood, leather.
Playing Fortnite as a 30-year-old adult. A car mechanics, custom built radio, ham radios. So that's everything I think is really masculine hobby, and there's nothing worth criticizing there, I think.
Yellow says he's into ham. Okay. Mini train painting, you think?
Yeah.
Swinging.
But if anybody's into trains, I think it's this chat. It's us more than these guys.
Yeah, no, we're
you
definitely.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if these guys could use a little bit more of the train fan brain, because I think they would be able to.
They would benefit from a little bit of spectrum, a little sprinkle of spectrum.
Yeah, not quite as much as the pro defense crew, ourselves included, but like
We're a little heavy on one side.
Our trains have ham radios in them.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. They for sure do. What about pickleball? Is pickleball masculine?
Pickleball's out because
Why?
I said masculine, right? And I think that
It's true.
these guys have a issue with, masculinity probably is why they act the way they do sometimes.
Women play pickleball.
For me, I don't have an issue with my masculinity.
True.
I know that I'm more masculine than Luke and Fiend.
Yeah.
And no one has to tell me that.
No one would dare refute that. No one would dare.
Who here in this chat's ever owned a Funko Pop? Be honest. Who's got a Funko Pop, dude?
What is a Funko Pop?
What is it? You say, what is a Funko Pop?
Yeah.
So you're not one of those types. Okay.
What is it? I don't know. What is it? Why does Ange know about pineapples? I know a lot of things. You'd be surprised, my friend. This chat needs chooch. Pineapples are popular in Delphi. This is true. Have you heard that, DB? They like to
Yeah, they're like upside down or something. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought people were just talking about, I like treats, I like sweets, I like pastries. I thought people were actually just talking about pineapple upside down cakes.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of.
You are?
Yeah, I know at least 4 of the mamas that are bringing me pineapple upside down cake to trial.
Really?
Yep, just leave them at the first chair.
Pineapple, just pineapple? You don't want like a carrot cake or like a...
Pineapple upside down cake?
Yeah. I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's something you'll have to Google.
Okay. I could do that. Isn't that a swinger code, DB? Or maybe it's just upside down pineapple.
Upside down cake? Upside down pine. Apple.
Yeah, Google it, DB. Put your safe search on, okay?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay,
I have the service. I have the extension that makes it stay on that you installed on my computer for me.
Excellent. You haven't overridden that. Perfect.
Oh my God. The Royal Caribbean Reddit, the subreddit Royal Caribbean. It says, we're upside down pineapple people. Ask us anything. We've been on numerous cruises over the past several years. And yes, we're those people with the upside down pineapple on our door. Early 40s, well-educated professionals, married.
On a cruise?
Kids, live in the DC region. Wow, this is very specific. Quick answer, yes, we do meet people on cruises, but certainly not on every one. And usually not because of the pineapple. No, we were not fringe weirdos. Excuse me. Kind of sounds like a little bit of a fringe.
Kind of sounds like they're judging.
No, we don't aggressively approach people on pools, in the clubs, or bars. Yes, we are super easygoing, and my wife likes beep.
Huh? I don't know about swinging on a cruise. It feels like there's just not enough square footage. The air feels like it'd be really stale. You can't run away afterward. You know what I mean? It feels like a really dangerous kind of place to engage in that extracurricular, Just me. If I'm swinging, I want to be able to get as far away from that as possible afterwards, I don't want to talk about it. Let me go. I'm just going to leave. Can't do that when you're in the middle of the Atlantic, Anyway, is that just me? There's a Pineapple Hotel in San Diego. Over $1,000. I didn't click on the link. Cal! Just me. Okay, well. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. It sounds like a really good way to get an infectious disease. Norovirus. Yeah, for sure. His wife likes it. See, Adrian's with me. Adrian gets it. It's just, it doesn't feel conducive to like a a comfortable, allowing environment to take place in something that should be, you know, allowing and comfy. It just feels very claustrophobic. It feels like there's just better places.
You mean on the cruise or
For
in the
sure.
police
I'm
department?
still on the cruise.
Because on the police department, you know what? That's a great point.
That too. That too. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. We'll come back to swinging in a little bit. Welcome, Adrian.
Wasn't this a case that happened a while ago with Megan Hall, the officer?
With who?
The officer that was doing extra duty with some of the
in Carroll County?
officers. No, never mind. I know that's your world, so I won't.
My world. Yeah, just mine, for sure. Just me. Are we gonna be swinging from the rafters like circuit? I just mean like it just feels too cramped. That's all. It just feels really cramped and stagnant air. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna proceed. If you object, please do so.
Motion to proceed granted.
Okay. Here's where things get DB, I don't know if you're hanging out for a bit, but I certainly could use you. This is where things get interesting for me today, at least. So Rich Davies is listed in the Frank's memo that the defense filed. This is meta. We don't even need to go there. Rich Davies is technically the FBI agent on the Unified Command Task Force. So we're told.
Wait, they said he was on the UCT?
In the Frank's memo, they sure say that. Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yep, they list him as the representative for the FBI, which is why I asked you what I asked you earlier, because that's odd. So here we go. Jeff Davies. Who's Jeff Davies?
Lion Shield instructor Rich Davies recently retired from the Federal Bureau of Investigation after 23 years of service. As a special agent for the FBI, Mr. Davies primarily worked in violent crime, drug and gang investigations. Mr. Davies also served on multiple drug, gang, violent crime, and fugitive task forces. He served as a member of the SWAT team, Special Weapons and Tactics, for 10 years, as a firearms instructor, tactical instructor, and he was a member of the Special Operations team, where he served as a team leader. Prior to the FBI, Mr. Davies served as a law enforcement specialist for 6 years in the Indiana National Guard. Isn't there an Indiana National Guard base that's subject? No, it's Indiana Air National Guard base, I believe. That was the subject of some of these topics we talked about, isn't it? Grisser. Where did they interview old KK again?
Grissom.
That's interesting.
Grissom National. What was it? Grissom Air National Guard Base or something, right?
Yeah, not Abu Ghraib. Instructor Spotlight, Lion Shield, LLC, instructor Rich Davies. What is a lion shield? Is it just a shield with a lion's face on it? I mean, it's kind of intimidating, but
it's a shield with a lion's face on it, or it's a shield carried by lions. I think that from this, it just means it's a shield and they put a lion on it.
Okay.
Grisham Air Force is in Peru, Indiana. Is that true?
Indiana.
I mean, I know that. I believe you. That's interesting. I didn't know it was in Peru.
Interesting.
Did you know it was in Peru, DB?
I might have known.
What do I do about this? Can you help me schedule the next one? I don't know what I did, and people are.
We're doing ads. Okay.
We're gonna lose people.
I turned ads on.
I turned them off before I scheduled it, and I put minimal ads, and now I'm getting clapped. What do I do about it?
We're doing ads, folks.
Hey, why did they interrogate Keegan Klein at an Air Force base, says USA Libertarian?
Well,
I don't know. Why did they?
I have a feeling that the answer most likely will kind of make sense when we actually know it. But it could also just be that there was an outpost there for the U.S. Marshals or something.
I'm getting stressed. Okay, so where did that comment go? Where did that comment go?
I didn't click anything.
Oh, do we know where they got? Yeah. So was Fortson at a different one? He was at a different one, right?
I don't know.
That was in National Guard. Is there a difference between Air Force? Yeah, Air Force Base versus Air National Guard Base, right?
There is a difference.
Okay.
However, the Air National Guard would be an installation if it was their base, but oftentimes one type of military can be stationed on a base that's a different type of military. So like if you have the Air National Guard and the Air Force Reserve, they have some of the same missions and they may still have units on the same base, but it won't necessarily be both types of bases.
Okay. So it's probably two separate places. Like Fortson's Air Force Base, where he worked, was probably not the Grissom Air National Guard Base in Peru. I don't think.
I don't know.
Well, I think I added one more. So Mr. Davies, special agent, retired. He retired prior to April 2021. We know he retired prior to I don't know why I put 2020. Prior to 2021, he retired. So he is not a task force member with the FBI. He's a former FBI agent who might be on the task force, but he's not with the FBI. Do you think that's a fair statement?
Well, I think he retired from the FBI in like 2020.
Okay. But when did he join the Unified Command Task Force? That's a question I have not answered. I'm still wanting.
When did I join the task force?
Huh?
Oh, him. Yeah. Let me text some people.
Okay. You let us know when you find the answer to that, because we are trying to find it. We do know that he joined the Tippecanoe County Sheriff's Office as a merit deputy.
Merit.
There he is.
MERIT. What does that word mean, guys? Does it mean like deserving of reward or something like that, right?
So he joined. What did we know about being a merit deputy? Anything? I still don't know what. I think it just means like you're retired and you need something to do, right? You're right, Yellow. He's not FBI. He retired prior to 2020.
Yes, I did. So the merit deputy, there's a statute in Indiana that outlines it, and it is fucking insane.
Yeah.
So there's like a merit council for each county sheriff, and they can assign so many people to these positions, and they have to be like retired police officer, a friend of a sheriff's department, or a family member of a sheriff's department employee, or a family member of somebody the sheriff used to fuck or something like that. I can't remember.
I thought it said that they couldn't be any of those things. Let me reread it.
Oh my God. Is that really what it was?
May not serve on the board. Yeah. It says an active county police officer, a relative of the sheriff or a relative of the county police officer may not serve on the board, either as a member appointed or elected by the police force. So you can't be an active police officer, a relative of the active county police officer, or a relative of the sheriff. That makes more sense. That'd be weird otherwise, right?
Sure.
You're fact checking me. I know. I'm right.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I know.
See, I read it. When I read opposite. So
okay.
I just didn't translate it back in my own brain. Sorry.
You read it like in Arabic or Hebrew, right?
No, I read it like a pro-defense person, and then
okay.
Eventually I like apply logic to it, and then it fixes itself. Okay. Dude, I think directions. Take I-90. I need the locals to speak up here. I got directions here to Grissom Air Base. Take I-465 north to US 31 north. Grissom is 75 miles north of Indianapolis and 15 miles north of Kokomo, Indiana. Well, Kokomo, Indiana is in the chat, isn't he? Or he or she?
Yes, they were.
Anyways.
They were. Yes, our friend Kokomo was here.
Okay, I need to get to the bottom. So I'm going to call some people. I'll be right back.
Okay. So anyway, this is Rich Davies. He is an instructor with Lion Shield LLC. So he established this corporation, I guess, in like I don't remember what year he established it. Probably around the year he retired. I don't know. But he's had it for a few years. It would seem to me that if he's not employed by the FBI anymore because he is retired and has been for years, that if he's actively involved in the task force, which he is, because Holman during the hearings most recently stated that Rich Davies, I can give you the exact quote, was one of the task force investigators that was listening to Rick Allen's phone calls and monitoring. Here it is. I'm going to send it so I can share it. Just because I feel like it is important. This was going to be an overview, but I feel like we're like so far in the weeds now, but that's okay. I think it's important. How do I get this? Oh, motherfucker. I hate this. Okay. Please hold, y'all. Okay. I hope that worked. Can y'all see this? Yes. All right. So this is Rosie says something prosecutor's office was doing some interviews up at Westville as well. Am I correct? And Jerry Holman says yes. Steve Mullen, Rich Davies, myself, and Brian Harshman, I believe, were the only ones that went up there and interviewed corrections officers and or inmates. And what was it that first prompted you to send someone up there? I can't remember. We received information that he had made confessions. We subpoenaed records. Okay. So Rich Davies is going with Steve Mullen, Brian Harshman, and Jerry Holman to interview corrections officers and inmates at Westville Correctional Facility in April through June, mostly May, I think, 2023. That's very interesting because he's not with the FBI anymore. So what is he doing? Does anyone know? How is he still, like, he's not representing the FBI, although they've told us forever, like, oh, we've got FBI involved. Well, not really, because he's not an FBI agent anymore. So in what capacity is he on the task force? You know? What's he doing? I don't know. But I know that his pants are too long. That warrants further investigation in itself.
Sure, why your pants look like that?
Why your pants so long, Rich?
And they're so big. Like, long is one thing, but like, and they're big and high.
This doesn't look like the same person, DB.
I don't think it is the same person.
But it says Instructor Rich Davies.
Yeah, that's true. I'm wrong. It's the same person.
But you're not wrong, though, because it doesn't look like the same person. Although the hairline looks the same. This is only almost a year and a half after he gets sworn in. It's very confusing. I mean, this is definitely the same person, but in the photo, I don't know if it's the same person. Anyway, regardless, I digress. So that's our Unified Command Task Force. We've got 3 representatives from Carroll County Sheriff's Department. I guess now technically 2 because Kevin Hammond retired. Although Tobe is not really on the task force. Is this something I do, Courtney? Have I done that before? I don't know if I've done. I mean, I guess I must because it was the first thing I noticed. Then we've got ISP. It's curious to me that Vito came on in March 2022, the same time the Klein transcript got leaked. And Vito was responsible for overseeing the Klein investigation for ISP that was like his baby. That was his little baby. His little baby. So that's interesting. March 2022, David Vito joins the task force in an official capacity, I guess, or that's what they're saying. And he brings the Keegan Klein nightmare with him, doesn't he? Man. Look at his pants. Oh my God. I guess I do have a
crime.
Yeah. I guess that's a thing. I guess that's something. Fiend, your pants were perfect length. I didn't notice anything about your pants that disturbed me. Okay. So any questions? So in terms of ranking ranking evil, I didn't include Brian Harshman on here because I guess I could have.
Yeah, but he's looking for kids in the walkway of the fair.
He's looking for kids to wrangle. What was the word he used?
Hi, my name's Brian Harshman. I'm looking for kids. I don't remember, dude.
I don't remember either. So that's the task force. Hey! All eyes, I don't know what that means, but I need more info on Rich Davies. I don't know how much you caught, but Rich Davies is confusing to me. So originally we thought, or I won't speak for you, I thought Rich Davies, I was getting him confused with Mike Peasley? Mike Posner? Mike Posner? The guy that is in that picture of all of Huh?
I'll pull it up.
Okay. I thought, he said handling kids. Yep.
Handling kids.
Mm-hmm. Harshman begged, so Holman begged Carroll County to be part of this investigation, and then Harshman begged Holman to be part of it. Is basically how I remember it, right? Yeah. So Yellow calls them the Unified Meatball Command. Hey, all eyes. Okay, so I was wondering too if, oh my God, this is so bright. God. I don't even know how to make it less bright because I unplugged my keyboard. So I'm screwed. Holy cow. That's crazy. All right. Yes, Harshman, did he move to be part of it? It would not surprise me in the slightest if he literally moved. Okay, can you explain how the sheriff's department works with the police department and how's the fire department come into this? The fire department did all the initial stuff. So in Carroll County, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office is one of the law enforcement agencies. And then there's the Delphi City Police Department is the other. So the Delphi City Police Department jurisdiction is just the city of Delphi. And then the Carroll County Sheriff's Department has jurisdiction over anything that occurs outside city limits. So because this crime took place on land that was technically in sheriff jurisdiction, it was not in the city of Delphi, it was like on the outskirts, the sheriff's department had jurisdiction over it. The fire department is its own entity, but all of the first responding agencies work together. I believe that the firehouse was the command center for the search for the girls as soon as they, and I'm actually going to do I'm working on getting all of everything that I have from the past few years together, like Facebook posts, news articles, tweets from the 13th and 14th of February, because there's a lot of things, just like time-stamped tweets that are very interesting. All of that to say, we're still talking about pants, I see. Yeah. They all kind of work together at the beginning. So the fire department was like the hub for everybody to kind of, I think they were organizing like volunteers, and they allocated all the resources, obviously, to help in the search. So what was the rest? What was the other part of your question? The fire department, how does it come into it? So yeah, I mean, with a place like Carroll County, one thing that you will find is that a lot of police officers and sheriff deputies are also volunteer firefighters, volunteer fire. Is that what they're called? Volunteer firemen, whatever. So a lot of them do also have like, so like, for example, Josh Steisinger was a police officer with the Flora Police Department. He's also a volunteer firefighter. And then like Dan Doolin, he is technically a Department of Natural Resources officer. But Dan Doolin's with DNR. He also is now he's the fire chief, but he is also a volunteer firefighter. So they all kind of like, it's like an incestuous in terms of like volunteering, if that makes sense. Yes, thank you. So this is who we originally thought was Rich Davies, but this is actually Mike Peasley. He was the FBI agent that was assisting up until 2018. I don't know when he left, but he was at the press conference in 2018 with the FBI. I don't know when he left though, and now I'm confused. Are you confused, DB? I'm confused. I mean, I just want to know when Rich Davies came on board and why, because we're told the FBI got shoved out in 2020, right? I should look.
Well, I think the prevailing wisdom on that is that the FBI officially got completely shoved out after the death of Greg Ferenczi.
So 2021. That would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
But who's Rich Davies? And why he's an FBI agent for 23 years? He's only had one trial?
Apparently. I mean, that was the only, I mean, I couldn't find anything other than that one case that you grabbed. I don't know if you've been able to find anything else. I literally could only find one.
I haven't found any.
Like I can't even.
Found the one.
Yeah, you did. You did find the one. You did really good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I can't find anything else.
Nothing.
Hammy, this is a great question. I have a lot of like conspiracy theories about the February 2018 press conference. I don't even know if they're conspiracy theories. They're
I
just
think
like,
that was just goofing.
they were just goofing off, you think? They're like, I don't know. Seems symbolic. Everything's they love symbols in Carroll County.
And not the musical instrument either.
Correct. They love symbols, meaning like sticks and shit
And spit.
and spit and piss. So, yeah, they have the press conference in 2018 at the Trailhead. Weird. Just weird. So Keegan, here's my thought. Go with me on this. So Keegan was a suspect, at least in terms of they needed to clear or determine if and what his connection was to the girls early on, whether it was like a NCMEC ICAC referral that led them to his house or whether it was something directly on Libby's phone. Regardless, they searched the Klein residence February 20 something 2017. And we know that that search was related to CSAM and or the Delphi investigation, the Delphi murders. It sounds as though they very quickly ruled him out of Delphi in terms of that case. But did they? Is now my question. Now my question is, did they?
It doesn't really seem like it. It doesn't seem like they ruled them out very quickly at all.
No, it seems maybe as though they perhaps. So when they talk about like the task force being like split or the investigations being split, I wonder if it really went all the way back to that, where some people believed that they couldn't let go of that angle and other people just excluded that, right? Because the FBI, had they believed there was a connection, because Nicole Robertson and that Michael Wilhelm, two very experienced cyber investigators with the FBI, like responded to that search. They were involved directly. So wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that if the FBI was on that track, that probably we'd have heard more, like maybe they'd have arrested him, right? I just am wondering, like,
it is bizarre, but I would think the conflict would come in between the group of people that probably thought it was Ron Logan versus Keegan Klein at the time.
right?
And then maybe people that didn't think it was anybody. But I think it would probably come down to more political maneuvering and an ideological perspective issue, other than like the best evidence there is for somebody that early on in the investigation. I think with little evidence, but also like I think what happens a lot of times too in these cases is there will be officers that are have parallel ideas to the lead investigator or the leadership of the team. Maybe they don't necessarily believe that, but they don't want to lose their spot on the task force. So they want to like make everything seem like it fits into the leadership theory so they can get recognized for it. Because if the leadership is like constantly impounding that they got to get something on Klein because they think that's their best bet, they're going to try to make everything that they have look like him so they can get credit for the work that they're doing. And whereas like some people may not have that approach, they may actually like investigate the crime itself. That's like kind of the other day when I was talking about all the evidence that was against Ron Logan or Keegan Klein. Like there's stuff that we don't know about that they were probably insinuating or like saying that pointed to him, but wasn't strong enough evidence to just like actually make it into the record. And so because of that, like that stuff can be easily washed away. Like just someone's perspective can change on something and they can very easily start to distract from it. And it's like there's a lot of power in the hands of the lead investigator, especially when the management isn't actually reviewing what they're doing. So like one of the biggest sins I think with losing the 70 days is it's pretty clear that no one inside the leadership of the unified command was actually reviewing the recorded statements. And so that means they're just taking the word for it from the investigators. And then the investigators are able to kind of make that fit, or the way they write their reports, or the way they have the statements written up. Certain parts they gloss over, certain parts they'll paraphrase, certain parts they'll put a quote in, and it'll like make kind of what they want to stand out more. And I think that not listening to the actual verbatim statements just shows that there was not a lot of oversight in the systemic, or like in the system that they had together. And I think a lot of that is probably because Unified Command was just losing their fucking mind. Also, hey guys, don't put the head of the Indiana State Police in the crime scene. Don't do that. Don't make him part of the investigative team.
Why not,
Don't,
Judy?
because what happens is there's a little thing called internal affairs, right? Or there's a congressional, a White House inquiry. Obviously, this being non-federal, that doesn't really matter, but a governor's inquiry, Freedom of Information Act. When you have the head of the agency in the everyday actions that are going on, being briefed, looking like one of the guys out there, it makes it very difficult for an IA investigator or, an auditor or, office, inspector general to come in and look at everything, because everyone's going to want to make it look like everything was cool. No worries. We're not trying to burn this guy. Not trying to make this guy look bad. And there's a reason why Mark Zuckerberg isn't allowed to walk around the Facebook offices. Okay? Because if Mark Zuckerberg walks up to you into your office, it's going to be a fucking distraction. They don't want him going, hey, and everyone stands up and goes, oh, fuck.
You can't concentrate. Like it's like
No.
it would fuck with me if like it's like having a supervisor over your shoulder while you're trying to just do your job all the time.
Right. And
a supervisor who doesn't know how to actually do your job is watching you do your job.
Like they're like, oh, the barbacoa is gonna go up. I fucking know the barbacoa is gonna get refilled. Okay, I'm putting more fucking chicken in right now, more pork. But do you have ghosts? No, that's a dog. That's an evil little old dog. So, I think
you're gonna kill me.
You gotta go.
Well, I'm gonna take the dog out. You don't have to stay though.
No, I got it.
Go do what you gotta do. You don't have to stay. But I do have to take my old dog out. You can stay.
I'll monologue.
Okay. All right. I'll be back.
How are you guys doing? It's just me here. I'm in the void. Crossword time. One down. I can't think of anything clever. USA Libertarian says, extremely careless with the critical early evidence, but spent $2 million trying to pin it on KK and the multiple full-time agents surveying Arya in prison. Yeah. I mean, that's not really that big of a deal, is it? Okay, next question. Love this one. DB, hee. That's a great one. Christ, even her avatar is hot AF. Oh, dude, true. Nobody, nothing. By volunteering, you mean milking. Okay. Linda K. Johnson. And oh, you sure? I saw Pup as well as. Oh no. You DB using the sexy voice plugin. Yeah, dude, this is a plugin. It was $1,500. Monologue. True. Heather Brown. He. I like it. Okay, what you guys been thinking about this Mr. Beast situation, huh? I know we talked about 2 days ago. We got the update, Mr. Beast with the Lunchables. Kind of crazy, right? I don't know if this is about Mr. Beast or Lunchables, but I'm going to read it. And FBI cannot publicly comment, so it's perfect for Unified Command to say the FBI fucked up and is working with us. Yeah, and Mr. Beast, where does he fit in all that? I don't know. Okay, so what I was saying earlier about these. Oh, we have another question here. Hammy, DB, can you explain the process of submitting tips? Because I tried to listen and I understand on All Eyes yesterday and I couldn't understand. Okay, so you're asking about like with Orion? I must have missed Mr. B stuff. Well, you can't floss like me, dude. I'm a cool teenage I'm a teenage hype beast and I can do the floss and I watch Mr. Beast. What is in the daggone Lunchbowl that makes it so bad? Diddy blames Costco for the baby oil. It's too good of a deal to pass up. What do you want the guy to do? He's a pernicious supplier of baby oil. He's got the shit on lock. Rumor has it those bottles were MDMA. MDMA, if you guys don't know, is bath salts. Just kidding. Oh yeah, like the process that Alan's tip must have gone through. Okay. I have talked to Always about this a lot. She may explain it differently, but my thoughts on it are that law enforcement, they have a portal called LEAP, LEAP. They don't necessarily have like Orion level access to stuff. It's through a online portal that they can look at and view what's been submitted into their system. So like when somebody files a tip, they put it in the state system, but the state system, because of the emergency nature of this specific case, is hooked up to a larger federal system so that when people receive and review the tips, they can look at them across state lines, because a lot of the times they think when a serial offender is involved and kids, they think there may be other cases or other things that people may see from outside of the state that will allow them to associate some of that information with this case, where it would normally just live inside the state system, in the state criminal information network system. So like the NCIC. And so it's like a data scraper in layman's terms. Like it scrapes out the information that's important from the case, that's associated to the case, and it catalogs it and creates issues to follow up on, so that things are not lost. It's like an automatic reminder system. Does that make sense? It costs like $50 million of our money. Here's another thing that I can't stand. If you guys want to know what I can't stand, I'll tell you. Back when I was the leader named Cal Drago, I was very against taxation without representation, I didn't want the Targaryens to come and, tax my people. So I revolted. And part of that was because people were saying, you don't live in this state. Check my messages. That's fucking crazy. Oh God. Don't do that. Thank you. Oh my God, Ange got an ad. Guys, listen, I don't want anyone to know to repeat this, okay? Angela and I made a deal. You know, this is my channel and everything, but I want there to be kind of a coalition of people that we can all come together. We could talk about the criminal case against Richard Allen. We don't have to talk about fucking this guy said this on Twitter and this guy said this on X, which are different platforms, I guess. Or this guy said this and I have a screenshot of this and this guy did this. Let's stop talking about people following the case. We're going to talk about the criminal case against Richard Allen. Okay. So part of that, we decided we're going to have a coalition of people. And in this coalition, we were going to take money from you guys. Okay. And that was my decision. Okay. I wanted your guys' money. I wanted as much of it as possible. So the t-shirt sales, they have gone down considerably. I think the latest shirt in the research that I've done, let's see if I have that that shirt. You know, I thought this one was going to be big. I know the price, you know, it was $9.99.99. Do we have another shirt? I think I have an unreleased one. Yeah, here we go. Fuck, where is it? They fucking took my shit down. They're trying to see Shopify. Real bitches, dude. Trying to shut me down. Who wants to see a new shirt? I have a new shirt. And it didn't do very well. And unfortunately, you know, when business is not good, I made these shirts for you guys. Yeah, they're $99, but whatever. Okay. And it's not a big deal to pay $99 for a t-shirt. Okay. Like I said, I would make it more expensive, but I can only put 2 digits in the dollar field. I could put 99 cents. That's, you know, that's as many cents as you can have before it goes to zero. Right. Okay. So what am I supposed to do? So I made it $99, and I guess that was too expensive for some people. And so the sales are down. So I talked to our master and I said, listen, how about we do ads? Why don't we do ads? Ads are good. Ads are fun. And, you know, a lot of them are, who's getting political ads? Raise your hand. Who's getting political ads? Don't say which politician, because then you're going to get doxxed. People are going to be evil, and they're going to write your politicians and say that you're doing a collusion with these defense attorneys, and that's not good. Okay, let's see here. I'm getting close. We got the new shirt. Okay, so this one is the shirt that didn't do so well, and I think that maybe it was a little bit a niche of a joke. As you can see, yep, it was on sale. This is the first one we did that was over $99. We had all the sizes. It says McClellan All Day Recycling. Or sorry, it says McClellan Recycling. McClellan can go all day. Okay. Somebody tell me if they get this joke. First. Yeah. Yes, please explain this on Devious Niche. Well, I just want to see if somebody can get it first, because maybe somebody is as fucked up in the head as me. It's hard to read the green on green. Okay, well that's fine. I'm telling you what it says. Okay, so I'm gonna say it right now. It says McClellan Recycling, and at the bottom it says we can go all day. Yes, post punk mama, you're the fucking shit. You, and that's it. That's it right there. Post punk mama, you get a shirt. You get a shirt. Boom, 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 boom. These shirts don't exist, but you can get one. So give me your address, and then post your address in the chat. And then this is really weird. AKA, don't do that. I'm just kidding. This is a bit. Don't post your address in the chat. Just really quick say, I know it's a bit, if you can. Okay. I'm trying to get permission here. I'm trying to get bit verified. Everyone. Okay, anyways. I'm sure she knows, or they know, or he knows. Uh-oh. Maybe they have a long address. God damn it. No. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm not going to read that address out loud. That looks real. Okay. Looks like a real address. So I'm not going to read it out loud. I'm assuming that is the bit. Okay. So check this out. You're going to get this shirt. Okay. We have your address now. But now that we have your address, it's weird how this works. Okay. I need your credit card information. Okay. It's not a big deal. It's just that you only have to pay like a small amount for shipping. You know what I mean? But all you have to do is give me authorization to use your savings account. Okay. And it's not a big deal. It's not anything that you need to worry about. Okay. Okay. Bit over. That was a bit. Nicholas McClellan, that was a bit. I wouldn't do that. Okay. Anyways, guys, that whole thing to explain this, I need money. Okay. I need money. And I know the best way is to do a t-shirt MLM. So everybody, goal is trying to thank God that was hurting my vision. Woman doing impossible things. How about I know what's impossible? You not cracking a good joke at me at my expense. Oh yes, we are doing a cryptocurrency. This is something I talked to Angela about. It's called Social Work Coin. And if you, it's like an NFT, but it's a coin. You don't actually get the art or anything. It's just a coin, but you're not actually getting it, in the mail or anything. It's not even drop ship. But Social Work Coin will allow you to, it's $500, right? You pay $500, right? And then you get certified. And when you're certified, you then have to volunteer all of your time for this channel in Photoshop. And you have to listen to me try to kill time. But anyways, have you liked the video? Have you subscribed? Do you do subscribe? Are you a cat? Or are you SpongeBob? Or are you this guy? If you're any of those things, maybe you're this guy. That's me in real life. If you're any of these people, not that guy, this guy, any of these guys, this guy, whatever that guy's doing, that one, that's something to discuss a little bit later. That's a good one. That's where your appendix is. Oh, let's see. Like the video, fucking do it, or else I'm gonna keep talking. This is one of our cheaper shirts. It's on sale for real. If this is too hard for you to read because of the colors, it says only gull I fuck with are seagulls. Seagulls are cool. They clean up after us. They're part of the ecosystem. That's a good thing, This is the Riddler shirt. We all know who that is. This is a fucking dweeb. We know that guy is. Let's see what else we got in here. We got this fucking guy. That thing. This guy is Odinism. Oh no, that's Luke. My bad. Another picture of me. Here's another picture of me. Oh, that's another picture of me. I got a lot of pictures of me in here. That's not me. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm getting back on track here. R&M says 2 minutes. Can you guys last 2 more minutes with me? Would you? Who is the view count? The view count has plummeted, dude. Concurrent viewers down 15. It was 145. Who would have thought you put Ange up here and you get 15 more people than when I'm up here? Damn, dude. That hit me. Did you see Chris Todd wrote the Kim Porter book? Oh, he wrote it or he would tote it? I'm just kidding. I do typos all day, so I'm the typo lord. I told you the crypto coins. We should spin our Fiend X and DB Cooper. That is genius. DB 4K. Trying to hit 4K. Yeah, let's sub. I know you guys are all subs. Damn, we're down to 129. What the fuck, dude? I am cleaning this thing out, huh? All eyes, please help. Just don't make me feel worse about this. We're back to 131. My mom and her great aunt, my great aunt must have joined. Much appreciated, mom and great aunt. My jokes bombed. Yeah, they usually do. But there's the thing. I just don't look at chat and don't ever see them bombing. Has it been 2 minutes? Okay, so the criminal case against Richard Allen. Anyone remembers anthrax? Oh my gosh. Let me tell you what. I was there when anthrax began. I didn't. I wasn't there like in the lab. That's incriminating, but I always tell Angela, I'm always like, how fucking hard could it be? Get up there and fucking talk, dude. You got this shit under control. Don't let the chat distract you. And then I'm up here and I was wondering, oh, there she is.
You're doing great.
You think so?
Absolutely.
It was on topic and everything, wasn't it?
You were doing really good. It was very topical. I thought it was perfect. Yeah.
Thank you so
Don't
much.
be so hard on yourself. How many t-shirts did you sell?
0. I think we have an FTC complaint and I'm going to get our workshop rated.
Well, that's all right.
A lot of people didn't like that one. And you know what? It is a little bit, it has some accessibility issues. I'm going to take it back through 508 compliance. And I think I have some calls from the ADA where there were some people that had vision impairments that were very disappointed in that t-shirt. But I think I'm going to, it's just an apology for everybody that I disappointed. The shirt was not accessible. And, I'm going to learn a lesson. I will learn it. I'm not saying I learned it right now. Are you kidding me? But, yeah. Oh, yeah, there is a Clam Jam one coming up.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that. I'm
coming up.
surprised we don't have a Clam Jam one already.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? But the last 3 failed, so
it'll be one of our Catastrophe says we've got our investors lined up. Hey, Raphael Webb, how long is the trial estimated to last? Well, Judge Gull has allocated what? 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
Yeah, which that's always been kind of strange to me. It's like she was like, "Whoa, we'll do it in fucking 13 days or some shit," and like there was gonna be 2 Sundays in there, so it'd be like 11. And then she said 4 days were gonna be jury selection, which like leaves 7 days or some shit for the actual trial.
Well, she's doing Saturday trials, like she's having the trial on Saturdays.
Right, but how was she ever going to do 7 days, and then all of a sudden she just made it 3 weeks? What the fuck are you doing?
Yes, it's crazy. It's absurd. I don't get it. I don't understand either why she's putting an end date on a trial. It's very odd. Like, you can try and do that, but you basically have to let the trial play out, right? She can't, like, stop them until they're done, right?
Yeah, I think that the defendant has a right to defend themselves.
Right. So like she can bark and bitch and moan all she wants, but she can't. It's gonna take however long it takes. I feel.
It is what it is. It's gonna take how long it takes.
Right. Hey, I want to show you something. It's gonna. It hurts me to do this.
It's my social security card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yours. I'm just kidding. I would never. So
What is this? Florida County of Miami.
Trooper Vito.
Damn, he got charged with all that.
The Indiana State Police Department. So this was filed on August 19th, 2020. What was happening in August 2020 in terms of the Delphi case? Do we know?
No, help.
I don't know. I'm asking. I'm wondering, when was Chadwell?
Chad Daybell?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not up on the Chad Daybell or the Chadwell.
I'm trying to remember.
Or...
Oh my god. Fucking keyboard help. Okay. Let's see. James Brian Chadwell.
Hey, did you see that post-punk mama got the joke?
Mm-hmm. Of course she did. They did. Of course.
Okay, but what are you saying? That they're really smart, right?
Yeah.
Of course they are. But what are you saying about the rest of the chat who didn't get it? Are you
They're
just
also
you
very
think it was
smart.
more of an accessibility issue?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now.
April 29th, 2021, Chadwell was arrested. So what were they doing? Can you explain it, please?
Oh, yeah. So there was an exchange between Perlmutter and Nick McClellan where he's being a jerk and he was like, I can go all day. Because he said that she was giving him like the runaround. He was saying that she was talking in circles.
Yeah,
So I was
he's
like,
a fucking
okay,
dickhead.
well, check this out. Circles. What's a circle? The circle of life, right? But I can't really make a t-shirt about the circle of life. So what did I do? I thought about other things that were cyclical. And I thought about recycling. Oh, I've seen a recycling shirt before. And then I named it McClelland Recycling. And then I put the little quote down there. And it was cute and it was cool. And a lot of people didn't get it, and I understand. But post-punk mama and I are the only people that I know that got it.
Keen and Gritty got it.
Did they really? Okay, my bad.
Apparently so. Yeah, and I don't know why. I don't think they would lie to us.
Well, definitely not Gritty. That I can, for sure, I can verify that. Gritty is very honest.
So, help me out here. So I'm trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. So Vito is already, this is relevant to me. So it helped my understanding to know that Doug Carter is already referring to David Vito as a member of the Delphi investigative team in January 2020. So he's already working on the Delphi case when he authors this in August 2020, when they arrested Keegan Klein. So David Vito of ISP.
Yep. The Cheeto. David Vito. Okay, the undersigned says, on February 25th, 2017, the Indiana State Police and the Federal Bureau of Investigation executed a search warrant at, assuming the residence of Keegan Klein. All I says, I don't even have a folder for August of 2020. Well, that's not great then. In 2020, they basically interviewed Bree and not much more. Okay. That seems about right. I'm not a mom, but I was cooking dinner and I couldn't chat. I got your joke, TV. Thank you. Oh, Chelsea's so smart. You're all very smart. I got a 2, but didn't care. Oh, okay. Very, I'm not gonna say that actually. While working ISP case blank number, the FBI sent information to the ISP Cybercrimes Unit that an adult male was fat as fuck, soliciting female juveniles, utilizing social media platforms such as Instagram. Okay, the FBI sent information to ISP while working the ISP case. Has this been redacted yet or unredacted yet?
I don't know that this this one has, but I think we know more or less what the redactions are.
Okay, so what's the second redaction?
ISP case. I imagine the Delphi case.
Well, what if it
Oh,
was?
it's either okay. I don't want to get. I'm really can't believe I'm about to say this. I don't want to get swept up with these lunatics, but I've always thought that it was either the Delphi case or the Brian Kill case. Buster Hernandez.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but okay.
What?
The Brian who?
So Buster Hernandez is the name of a 20-something-year-old cyber terrorist that was terrorizing Indiana for like 3 years or so before they finally caught him. But it was one of the biggest like cyber investigations. I mean, he was like terrorizing schools. He was threatening to kill women with knives in the way that the Delphi, like similar to how the Delphi girls were killed. So anyway, all of that to say, ISP and the FBI were investigating, trying to identify this cyber terrorist for years. Mama Gritty said Avon High School. So he was making threats against Avon High School. They had to shut the high school down. It was like really terrifying because no one knew who he was, if he was local. Come to find out, he was a fucking weirdo and a basement dweller in California doing all of this. But it was a huge investigation. ISP was leading it, and it was a cybercrime investigation where he was making violent threats that were not too dissimilar from how the girls in Delphi were killed, if that makes sense. Like he was threatening to kill women with knives and slit their throats and shit like that.
This is all I can think. This is all I can hear in my mind right now.
This is the whole fucking shit. You don't know fucking anything. You're a fucking idiot, dude.
That's what I think about right now when I said I didn't know who that guy was being just fucking rinsing me, dude.
Why? Well, but like it's not like a well-known. I mean, it's like probably well-known in Indiana, but I don't think it was like a big deal nationally when they caught him. He was caught. I don't know when he was caught, but he was still not identified at this point. All of that to say, I always thought that this video or this case was either Delphi or Brian Kill, but it's more likely than not it's Delphi.
Okay, so the ISP and the Federal Bureau of Investigation executed a search warrant at blank while working the case blank. So if they executed the search warrant while working the Delphi case, wouldn't it just that seems kind of it seems worded strange to me, because the Indiana State Police and the Federal Bureau of Investigation executed a warrant at Keegan Klein's while working the FBI case, or while working the ISP case. The FBI sent information. I don't know. I gotta read that, I think, at least 131 more times to really get it through my head that that's not a clue. You know what I mean?
Well, so okay. So basically, the way this is written in 2020, and it talking about a search warrant that was executed in 2017, which that in itself is weird. Brian Kill was 2017 though, meaning like they caught him in 2017. All eyes, they did, right? I want to say they did. I'm pretty sure they did. Or maybe not. Oops.
Okay, so as far as the amount of years goes, there is a lot of federal cases out there that are not that dissimilar to this, where they will work somebody or a database. I'm not saying the Dropbox. This is I don't think that shit's related at all to the case, but they will take over, some website that has CSAM, some type of marketplace, and if they are like a known user in those groups, they can use their identity and connections to, take down a bigger threat, take down a bigger criminal actor. And so sometimes over a number of years, they could be cooperating with the FBI. I don't think ISB has this type of infrastructure because I don't think they have the incentive for the criminals for that. Like in the federal system, cooperating is a huge deal, and you get way better. And if you take a plea and cooperate, you get a way, 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 way better sentence. It's usually like that in most states too. But given his sentence, I don't think he cooperated at all. And maybe they were trying to flip him for a couple years. But yeah, 3 years just seems a bit too long with no actual evidence of him cooperating. Hi, Christine. And so it's just strange. So the adult male was using the username. Okay, we know that. Subpoenas were sent to Instagram, Snapchat for just got information. Instagram, Snapchat returns provided Comcast ISP addresses. Right. No, Snatch choice of 16. Okay. I got all that. Know what you're saying with this?
I was saying that detective or ISP, is he a detective? Vito.
I think so, yeah.
Authored this. Where is it? Now I've lost it. He authored this in August 2020. Even though the search of Keegan's house took place in 2017. And the reality is, even though they've said that Vito joined the task force in 2022, March 2022, he was already on the task force in 2020 because Doug Carter mentions him as being a member of the task force in that ISP Roadshow interview in January 2020. So he's already he's already working with them in some capacity on the Delphi case. So if he's if he's leading a Keegan Klein angle in 2020 and he's working the Delphi case, I tend to believe that he's pursuing a Keegan Klein angle because they are looking to link Keegan to Delphi. They arrested him because they were ready to pursue him as the Delphi lead, suspect. Doesn't that make sense?
Yes, it does. But to me, that's why there's this whole thing of why there's all this pressure is because they probably left him out to cooperate, and he ended up not giving them shit, and they probably were going to their leadership with information that they were probably maybe exaggerating a little bit with his willingness to cooperate.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying, okay, if you just leave him out, we can cooperate. We can get him to cooperate.
But cooperate as it relates to Delphi?
No, just even that would be ideal. But whatever CSAM connections he had, they would want whatever servers he got the information from, or if he was selling them to people that he knew, that they would be able to use him as a undercover, or I'm sorry, as a confidential informant to get information, or have a some type of operation going with him. But then what happens to that is, I think after a couple years, they're like, oh, okay, he's just not cooperating. He went to the fucking they said he went to the cemetery, whatever the fuck, all this stupid shit. And seen his dad there and everything. And then that all kind of stalls out, and then just a few months later, they are back into the case looking for important shit, going back to the beginning and all that. And they had to find somebody because they wasted all this time on Keegan and probably sold Keegan to the Unified Command as a viable suspect. And now they're like, fuck, we have to pivot and come up with something else. And so, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so it just behooved all these people to get in line and get behind another person, because it took off pressure
for
their failed operation of trying to get him to cooperate for so long. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that didn't work out, but guess what? We fixed it. We have him now,
We got him now.
Yeah, we got the guy now.
So I agree with all of that. I don't think that Keegan actually has anything to do with the murders of Abby and Libby. I just don't.
Yeah, either.
The reason I am probably quicker to dismiss such a unbelievable coincidence, the coincidence of Libby being targeted in 2 separate crimes at the same time, is because just personally, I worked with Vice on child crimes against children. And when a young teenager or young, a juvenile is a high risk victim, meaning high risk doesn't mean that they're engaging necessarily in risky behaviors. It's not like it shouldn't be like a stigmatizing thing, but like high risk meaning like parental supervision at home, right? If you have if you live in a home where both parents work, they're not home to supervise you all the time, right? Latchkey. A lot of us were latchkey kids, right? So it's not a criticism, but so Libby was living in a home states away from her mother, who was her, who supervised her quite closely when she lived with her, and then moved into a home with her grandparents who were older. They were busy. They worked. She cohabitated with criminals, objectively. Don't come for me. She didn't maybe have as much supervision as she would have had in another home, and she was very active on social media, not in a like sexual derogatory way. She just had like a really wide net of social media. Like she was like really ahead of her times in terms of like all the apps. She was on like that Songify app, which I think was TikTok now or something. She had like thousands of friends. So like that's what I mean by high risk. So she was like very like accessible to, if somebody wanted to harm her, she was probably more accessible than another teenager would have been. That's what I mean. So it's not uncommon for higher risk victims to be victimized in multiple ways in parallel crimes that have nothing to do with one another. That's all. And I think that and unfortunately, I just think that, look at Sleuthy. Thank you. Exactly. Sleuthy says, my mom was a single mom. She worked her ass off. When I was 12, me and my best friend took a train to Philly, Kensington specifically, to meet boys we met in an AOL chat. Lucky we didn't die. Exactly.
Kensington. Oh, I guess it's not Kensington today, but
exactly though. And so I've had cases where a young teenager, a girl goes missing, and they begin a missing person investigation. And this victim may have come across my desk in reports 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 times in the past year. Yes, so then you would have to like go back and vet and interview people that she's interacted with that maybe were involved in those cases of her, like runaway, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the person that abducted her this time. Like, I'm just saying, I've seen it firsthand. It sounds really unbelievable, but it's actually really way more common than you might think to see young victims who are victimized by multiple predators in parallel ways, and they don't have to do with one another. It's just a sad reality. Somebody like Libby, I could see her being targeted by more than one person, and it sucks that that's the case. But so that's why I'm quicker maybe to dismiss a connection. I don't think, I mean, Keegan they say he was interacting with hundreds of girls in Indiana, right? Like hundreds. And if Libby, because she was active on social media, is going to give him, like, is going to like accept his friend request or respond to him or whatever, because she has a very broad social media activity or whatever, like, yeah, then he's going to probably talk to her. I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to be like dismissive of that. I just don't see any.
No, it makes sense, I think.
Okay.
It's still going to get clipped and,
That's fine.
put all over Facebook.
Fuck, it's fine. So, so they go to Keegan's house originally on February 25th. This is after the FBI, like that. So the case is 2 weeks old at this point. You've got the FBI and ISP officially now helping. So Keegan, or I guess this is Tony because it's redacted. He was interviewed by Sergeant Kunstek and Agent Willman. So he's read his rights. I'm just trying to refamiliarize myself with this. And I'm only bringing up Keegan as it relates to Vito and Agent Davies and their roles in the case, because I do feel like Keegan Klein is directly connected to the task force members, like the newer ones, if that makes sense. Okay. So he admits to talking to 15 girls, and he's received pictures of every one of them. He's polygraphed. So he took a polygraph. They spoke about this incident and case, Delphi case. So they polygraphed him. I know polygraphs are not always very reliable, but like, okay, whatever. They polygraphed him. Okay, Keegan's polygraph questions were based on the Delphi case. So he passed. Is my assumption.
There's no passing a polygraph.
DB, please.
It's not a real thing.
For the sake of
conversation. Okay.
Put your train you're painting down and focus.
Okay, so if he passed, that just means I'm not even gonna go there.
Law enforcement might clear him from that, at least superficially, if he passes.
See, look at that, Miku. We both enjoy trains. Keegan's polygraph was concluded. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's an investigative technique. They used it.
Yeah. No.
I'm surprised they just didn't say he was a true psychopath and knows how to defeat the mechanism that measures whether or not he's being truthful.
Everyone coming at me for saying that he passed the polygraph. Y'all are so
y'all are so scientific.
Is that me? Is that my voice?
No.
It sounded really close.
No, it wasn't. It was me, Cal DB.
I'm making a point, DB.
I got it. No, you're right.
So they bring him back to his home afterwards. He's contacted 2 days later by cybercrimes. Oh, Keegan contacted them himself.
You guys got my phone?
He said, I found my... No, he said, hey, I found my phone.
Oh, that's right.
So he contacts ISP Cybercrimes on February 27th and says, you forgot one. I found it. And it takes them 4 days to retrieve it? Okay. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I lied. This is a horribly written PC, by the way.
It really is.
It's really fucking bad, Vito. Fucking doofus. So, look, on February 2017... he contacts them. On March 2nd, 2017, the cybercrimes unit obtained his phone from ISP Peru. On April 24th, I was assigned lead investigator for the case. They this case specifically to pursue Keegan as their Delphi lead. Period.
Wait, so why was he... So who's the lead investigator before him?
I don't know, but I imagine that it was FBI because, so ISP Sergeant Kunstek and FBI Special Agent Willman, I think it's actually Wilhelm, or maybe it's Willem. I don't know. I think maybe he spelled that wrong. So it's Kunstek and Willman. FBI Special Agent Willman has done a lot of, like, if you look him up in like Pacer or whatever, like he's everywhere. Like he does a lot of
like Rich Davies.
Correct. Not like Rich Davies. So it seems to me like they didn't get much from, like, it just, the ball was dropped at some point for whatever reason, unless they really only gave a fuck about the Delphi case and didn't care to pursue anything for the CSAM, which is adorable, but not till April 2020. So in April 2020, David Vito, ISP, working on the Delphi case, is assigned Keegan Klein's case. Oh my God, look at this, DB.
Yep.
You see?
On June 12th, 2020, I received the digital forensic examination of ISP Sergeant Chris Cecil. I reviewed the information, and below is a summary of the forensics examination. On June 18, 2020, multiple law enforcement officials met the Miami County prosecutor to discuss this investigation. Keegan's iPhone. Very aptly named. And it was last utilized 2016, 22.
Our friend Cecil. It's interesting that all of the individuals that are like witnesses for the state in the case against Rick were also brought in for this investigation. And I believe that what you said a few minutes ago is exactly right. I think that the members of the investigation, the individuals very invested in a Keegan Klein angle for the Delphi case, poured a lot of energy and resources into that particular angle. And when it didn't pan out, and when they made fools of themselves and spent a lot of money investigating that case based on nothing, well, not nothing, based on their hunches, they had to pivot and find a resolution quickly to alleviate the pressure of how horribly they fucking fumbled the bag and how much wasted time and energy and money they poured into the Keegan.
Hemi is not me, I promise.
Investigation, right? Like, it almost seems like the men who are most desperate and frantic to convict Rick Allen are the same men who were convinced that Keegan was their guy.
Yeah, it seems that way. I do wonder how involved Holman was too, because I feel like part of me thinks that maybe Vito was the one feeding it to Holman, and Holman was like, "Oh yeah, that shit's good, dude. That's
Yeah, because
great,"
Holman's
you know?
lazy. He doesn't do any of his own work.
Well, he can't do any of his own work, you know?
Why?
Well, because he doesn't know how. He's not equipped. You know, I've just seen some reports where he orders other people
He
to
does.
participate in some activity that is less than
He sure
up to
does.
par. Glory Holman is always involved. Yes, indeed.
So,
yes.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting that Vito comes on in 2020. So he picks up the case in April 2020. They don't arrest Keegan until August for the CSAM charges. They try and this is just fucking so stupid. I don't know why.
You know what's crazy too is if that iPhone 5C was really the one that got a lot of the information, they missed it. They didn't give it to him. He volunteers it, brings it in, and that's how they got these charges on him. Like, I'm not saying it just makes them look even worse.
Well, of
Like,
course
he
it
should
does.
still go down for all of it. Don't
He
get me
didn't
wrong,
need to
but
put all of this in this report, by the way. Like, he's kind of an idiot. Like, you don't need
they
to
just copy paste and shit.
Yeah, but you don't need to include. Why would you? Like, it's kind of stupid to include graphic CSAM details in a report, even if you think it's gonna be redacted. It's not necessary. You can fucking summarize.
Oh, I think it was a press. This is like, more of a press release for certain.
This is 100% a press release, yeah. And they got
this is for the pervs to read out loud.
Yeah, it's very exactly.
Kind of like the Soto case. I feel like sometimes. Sorry if you like that case. You like talking about that case. I'm sorry if I'm friends with you.
We'll say why though, because I
you.
think that's a good point, but maybe you can say why you're saying that so people don't think you're just being...
I just don't want to hear some explanation of full-on PC level detail description of what is alleged that this person did to a victim in detail online. Like, I just don't think it's very... Like, yes, I think we should shine a light on this type of victimization. But it just seems like people sometimes when they're talking about it, like, I don't want to hear Gray Hughes like whisper into the mic about how Madeline was victimized, and
Yeah.
like, or I don't want to hear about how it doesn't make sense. I'm not saying this is my complete thoughts on it, but like,
Right.
it's just perverted to me and fucking weird. And yeah, it's exploitative for sure. It's like exploitative, but like, it's like, even that doesn't quite do it justice to me. It's like, you're not just exploiting the story. It's like
voyeuristic a little bit.
voyeuristic, and something you should not be a voyeur in.
Right.
Precosin says, I don't think that type of info should be shared widespread. That's for the profiles and psychologists, etc. Well, I think, because it like kind of butts up against my thoughts about public access, right?
Right.
And I think it should be public access. I'm not saying that these things aren't contradictory. I get it. I'm contradicting myself.
But they're
like,
children, DB, so it's fine.
But I don't think it's a good idea to just read it out loud on the internet and like
profit off of it.
And then even that, but like, even if you, because true crime channels really don't make that much. Like, at the end of the day, it's all demonetized, a lot of it, and like, you live off donors. But like, you sitting there and talking about it, and you get a ding for the super chat. Like, I'm cool with you having a super chat. Like, I'm cool with the true crime channel having a super chat. But like, ew, dude, what are you doing? I don't know. It's just fucking weird.
I agree with you. I also think that there's a difference between public access is one thing, but releasing the details of the sexual victimization of children is not, it's not a public access thing, right? That's just not at all. That's why, I mean, there are literally laws. I mean, even in criminal, like, trial rules, you can exclude something from public access entirely if it involves juvenile victims. So the fact sorry,
go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to read Sloozy's comment.
Read it.
She said, some people believe that sanitizing the words in the reports minimizes the horrors done to the victim. I agree.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, it's not like a point that I have like my final thesis on or anything, but I just think that it's a little fucking weird. I don't want to listen to it myself personally. I don't find it interesting.
Weird to role play.
Yeah, that's kind of what
it's very upsetting. It's very upsetting.
And then like, people will say that I've mocked parts of the investigation, right? When I'm like doing a little chit chats, and I'm reading and like goofing and stuff. I didn't. One time they asked me to be Cecil, right? I'm not going to be Cecil. I'm going to be bumbling moron Harshman. Okay, I'm not going to make fun of the guy that's talking about the victims and how they died. Right. I'm going to make fun of the idiot that's probably lying and exaggerating for the state.
Yeah.
Because he's an idiot and he deserves to be made fun of. There's nothing wrong with punching up. I'm not going to sit there and like joke around about the blood spatter, whether I believe that it's an ethical field of study or scientific field of study or not. But yeah, so she said, so this says, what's weird is not the same across the board. Like, one department redacts Madeline's name and the other department doesn't. Yeah, it's just so weird. I don't know. And I just can't stand myself. I feel like a voyeur. And when I'm hearing some of stuff, even when they're like, they found her t-shirt like in his car, that's innocuous. Like, it's an article of clothing and it's the vehicle, right? But like, it's just fucking gross. I don't know.
It is gross. It's also, I think that some people just have like a different level of tolerance for crimes, for hearing about and like talking about crimes against children, even when it's done in like a respectful way. But I think that there's a point to where, like, so in the Soto case, I remember I wasn't really following it, and I had asked you and Courtney a couple of questions about it, I think because I was just seeing it everywhere. And I was seeing it so much that I just assumed, and this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I assumed that the case was still unsolved. Like I just assumed that she was still, like, it was more of like an awareness thing because she was either still missing or they hadn't made an arrest yet. And when I found out that they had in fact not only arrested the person, but have they found her remains? Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when I found out that they had her remains and they knew her manner and cause of death and that they had arrested a suspect and the case was this, I mean, I know that there's this outstanding kind of interest in whether or not her mother will be implicated or arrested or charged. But like, to me, that case is quite resolved. Like, it's resolved in enough that like the details of her victimization are not really relevant, or I just fail to see the purpose or the point in talking about them so much.
Yeah, so Lee says, I personally think that these kinds of predators and what they actually do stays hidden in darkness, and people then can pretend it doesn't exist. You can't ignore it when the light is on it. I agree. I agree. I know it's a contradiction. I agree. I just don't know what the middle ground is. And to be honest with you, it sounds fucked up, but like the way that it gives me the way it revolts me is like not just for the victim, it's like for all victims. Like when I hear it, it's not like, oh, I can't listen to this because the victim is certain age or certain, whatever demographic. It's like there's something more about it being entertainment, but people will say that about this case too. And so I guess people have different lines, and for some reason that line exists for me with that case, where it's just not that interesting to me. Because it's a little bit more revolting. And I think there's more legal, investigative, law enforcement questions here that are more interesting to me.
Yeah, that's fair. And again, I'm not like, I totally understand. I don't think that the Soto case and the Keegan Klein transcript, by the way, are the same at all. I think that
No, that's 100% true.
Yeah, like I understand the Soto case. I agree with you, Sleuthy. I do think that it's important to talk about how, especially because these criminal acts against this little girl were occurring for a long time beneath the nose and watch of a parent of hers. So it's like, yeah, I do think awareness is important because we need to be able to recognize and hopefully, like, if we can do anything to interrupt victimization, we need to know how and what to look for. Like, I do agree with all that. The Keegan Klein issue that I have is that this transcript, one, I just feel like I could fucking see through it from the beginning. I felt like it was a manipulation. I don't even know how.
They did a gaslight.
Yeah, they did a gaslight. Like, ask hey Dan, good to see you. Ask Matt. I mean, Matt Sullivan was like at my house physically in person when the Anthony Shots info came out, and we both had a lot of questions. I definitely, from the very get-go, was like, this is a red herring. This is either a strategic move or a political move, or they really don't fucking know what they're doing. And yeah, we did. We read the transcripts, and they were not redacted when we read them. And I was sick, but not only was the decision to connect, I mean, they basically exploited Abby and Libby to further their own, as they saw it, to solve the case, but really just to further their own investigation. I mean, it really still sickens me to this day how long they went with this and how much damage I feel was done, because not only was that transcript purposefully released by probably Vito or Holman or somebody, it was strategic 1000% to release that transcript. You cannot convince me otherwise. That was 100,000% an intentional move. I was even told by, I don't want to say it, but I just know that it was intentional. The Keegan Klein transcript, that like 194-page interrogation transcript, like that was released in March, the same time that they're trying to say that Vito joins the task force. Like, that's intent. That was intentional. And they wanted the public. They wanted public pressure. They wanted public attention. They wanted the public to think. They wanted the public to help them solve it. Is what they wanted. They wanted, and it just much like when they arrested Rick and they said, we think there's more people out there, and they didn't tell us what he did allegedly, but they put his face up there and they charged him with murder, and then they didn't tell us anything else. Like, they wanted the public to tip in they wanted the public to solve it for them, I think. And that's so fucking lazy. Like, from day one, that's how they've been trying to solve this case, is just by hoping that the public will just drop the information they need in their lap. And I think they really thought Keegan was their conduit to solving it. And I don't think that they were doing it. Like, I really believe they thought Keegan would lead them to the killer or was the killer. Like, they genuinely believed in this theory. But that is also really concerning because it's such a bad theory based on coincidences and hunches when the evidence wasn't even pointing there.
I love bad theories.
Me too.
I check them out from time to time.
Right, because the info that, exactly. So, like, they're pursuing the fuck out of this cybercrime angle, and totally based on the FBI cleared Keegan of Delphi in 2017. They were not interested in pursuing him as a suspect because he wasn't fucking there. Period. But then you've got viable other leads that they're totally ignoring. Detectives from other agencies are handing them, like, they've already filled out and gotten the search warrants or whatever, and they're like, here you go execute this. And they're just ignoring all of that evidence and ignoring all of those leads, but they're like gung-ho pursuing this other Keegan cyber lead. Like, why? Like, why? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I think one thing that sticks out to me about those issues is them needing to pivot away from this, but it's because they got really infatuated with some of the stuff he was telling them.
Right.
So I get why they were kind of going down that road, because if they had a suspect that was like actively putting himself there, and somebody that he associates with, that he's closely related to there, and saying that the other person was their co-conspirator, not only in the criminal case they were a suspect in, but also their alleged involvement in the murders. I think you have a pretty good lead there, but I think they're probably worried about how long they stayed on that lead and how much resources they actually dedicated to it, ultimately being not fruitful, and probably all those excuses they made along the way to leadership to try to stay on it, because
Right.
they had to sell it basically, even though there was a lack of connection. And I think maybe they thought if they left him out, if they left him out and he took his guard down, that he would come off his photos that he took at the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
And that would maybe be how they associate him directly to the case. But obviously that didn't happen because he didn't have them. Let me tell you what, I was listening to a YouTube channel the other day called Cryptex. Y'all know Cryptex? Y'all heard of Cryptex?
Mm-hmm.
He had a mask on for a while, but I guess he's unmasked now.
Oh.
That's kind of nice. That's kind of cool. Oh, a face reveal. like will be happening soon in this case. What actually happened the other day in this case, for me, aka me, because everything revolves around me. And I seen Skip on there, and there's some very interesting stuff talked about on there. If you guys haven't seen it, very interesting.
Say
And
more.
so,
Or don't.
just Skip talking about stuff I haven't really thought about necessarily before. Knew that type of that angle. We'd
Oh.
have to go watch it. I don't want to talk about it on this channel.
Well, I didn't know that Skip was on it. I will go watch. I'll watch anything Skip is on.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fiend says, I was told it was impossible. He wore a mask over his beard. Yeah, that's a thing. I know a lot of guys who can't wear a mask over the beard. They applied for exceptions in the DOC so they can have a beard and not wear masks. So
Yeah.
Gina, the PCA is extremely graphic. Which one are you talking about?
Jennifer Soto, I believe.
Yeah.
Because Gina, who the good Baudet, hi Gina, was saying, she said, for the record, I've been unable to listen or read about Madeline.
Yeah, you're on a good track there. Just don't do that. They were being pressured. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. No, pin that one. Yeah, keep that one pinned. So they were being pressured to solve it. That's kind of what we were saying earlier. 100%. Pressured by whom?
Probably Holman.
Probably.
Holman controls it all.
I tend to believe that. And not because he's like the most qualified or versed or equipped or knowledgeable, but just because he's the most brutish and he has the biggest ego and he has decided that he will solve this case without actually having to do any work to solve it.
I wonder if any of that 3 years of evidence or the 3 years of the investigation from 2017 to 2020 on Keegan Klein had any Delphi related investigative materials in it.
Yeah.
You
Great
would think
question.
it would have to, right?
It would have to. And that is, you just said what I couldn't. Like, I feel like there was at least a group of, much like there were many angles being investigated we never knew about, right? I suspect there were Keegan Klein related. Hi, Rolo. Keegan Klein related investigations occurring that were Delphi case specific, if that makes sense. I don't know who would have. I imagined Vito for starters. But okay, so remember the other night I was saying how the Delphi case is different because of all the cases that like people follow in recent years.
No, I don't remember.
There's an internet component to the Delphi case, like the social media life course in Delphi is like just ridiculous. Like it's toxic, but it's also like,
it's toxic. I've been fine.
You have been fine. Well, that's because you're doing it right. You know, you've cracked the code. But of the task force members, which one or ones have been utilizing the internet and social media the most? Is a question I would ask. And I would say Holman.
Okay.
Holman has invested a lot of time and energy into facilitating relationships with people in groups. He's active in the groups. They have third parties and profiles all over. So like, not to say that's an unusual strategy in other cases, but like in this case in particular, it just seems like certain individuals have invested almost all of their, like have put all their eggs in the basket of cyber. I'm having a hard time articulating what I'm thinking.
like generating a community that will
Yeah.
push tips,
Yes.
information, collect information, like
Yeah,
open
and
source information to.
yeah, thank you. Exactly, DB. Yes, thank you. Yeah. And whether the goal at the beginning was probably because, but that means that they had to have believed, at least in part, that this crime was cyber in nature, right? Or that the mechanism for solving it had some kind of cyber component, right? Maybe not. I just think that Holman's all over it is basically what I'm saying. Like, he's just like all over it. And it's like he's got his henchmen. And it seems to me that his henchmen are Vito, Davies, who I still have a lot of questions about Davies. And
I want to see another case Davies worked on. Where's your cases at, bruh?
I don't know.
Where are they at?
I can't find any. I can barely find he doesn't even have a LinkedIn. Like, I can't find anything about him.
To everybody that I've said in the last month, I'll look at that. Yeah, thank you. That sent me something. I tried my best to look at it, but I'm really saying now, if you send me cases with Rich Davies in them,
Rich Davies, FBI agent Rich Davies,
Special Agent Rich Davies,
Special Agent Rich Davies, or Richard
Davies. Yeah.
And where was he? So he would be out of either Indiana or Wisconsin, right?
He's mainly worked for West Lafayette Field Office, the FBI.
Okay.
The regional.
Which is insane. Then why can't I find anything about the guy?
Dude, because I don't fucking know. Well, okay, so the Federal Sentencing Act, or the federal sentencing statistics say that they sentence like so many people a year, right? And 99% of them are sentenced based off of a plea agreement, an open plea, which basically means that they didn't go to trial, right? So
yeah,
we know that a lot of cases don't go to trial, but there's usually more, you have the criminal complaint or a federal grand jury. Obviously that's going to be sealed, but there's other stuff that comes into that you can find on Pacer, or even state cases where the FBI assisted, or they handed over information, or they had something. Y'all just wandering in the dark about Rich Davies. Yeah, we're bringing it to you now, Fiend. Let's hear it.
So help.
So if you guys have anything, even if it's, I think the one case is a CSAM case. I think it's United States versus DeWitt is the one I could find. Was that it?
Yep.
DEWITTE. Yeah. So that's the case I have. And it's funny because, like, in that case, the only time he's mentioned is like he forgot to secure.
He lost his chain. He broke his chain of custody.
He's like, oh yeah, there's this fucking cell phone here, and it was for, and I'm talking like, oh God, I almost did the thing I hate, but I'm not trying to rank the crimes and horribleness, but like,
pretty bad.
It was like the victim was.
It was bad.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
It was really bad. A really, really egregious crime involving a young
family member.
Yeah.
So
not his family member, family member of the offender.
Yes. So he just like left the guy's phone out on his desk, and they're like, "Well, the building that it was in got locked at night, and we're pretty sure he was like the last guy there." So,
and it was right where I left it.
It was right where you left it. Nothing had changed on the device. Okay, sir. You didn't even celebrate extract it yet. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's really alarming. But anyway,
quite strange, really.
And that was in
2021, I think.
2021.
Is that right?
Well, so it was appealed in 2021. Like that wasn't that a court of, wasn't that in a.
Oh my God. What does this mean? All eyes.
Rich Davies? What do you mean all eyes?
I will fucking lose my mind if there's another Rich Davies. I didn't call you nothing. Hand me the homie.
DeWitt. Oh, I get it. DeWitt.
You know who else looks like they shop at that store?
Who?
Fucking Rich Davies.
He does. Wait, I have to. I didn't share the picture of him with his long pants. I'm gonna. Because it's really bad. Oh, like, is there another Rich Davies?
Skip says, Liggett sent Norok in to discredit those who threaten their agenda. Sorry, but it's true.
They bungled the crime scene, lost the interviews with. Yeah, I know it all. They sure did. They bungled everything. Okay, airdrop. Oops. Fuck. Shit. Shit. Fuck.
What? I just read the DM for Fiend.
Okay. Is it the funniest?
No,
Stop
well, it
being
is
mean to
funny
Dave.
because fucking Fiend is funny, but it is it's a thing. Fiend, are you okay with me characterizing this live? I'm not gonna read exactly what you said, but just let me know.
Do it.
I'm an ethical reporter. I'm gonna get comment before.
Just so bright.
Now somebody's gonna hack into Fiend's account and say yes, and I'm gonna say it out loud, and the real Fiends could be mad.
Yeah.
Rolomata says Shomos get removed from GP mainline yards prison and get extorted in PC yards. Danny Rapperson, Masterson didn't even make it to the chow hall. Yeah, and especially in Indiana, like he's getting removed from a mainline yard. Keegan Klein, I don't think he's got to be in PC. I think he's probably was in PC in jail too. Okay, he said somebody hacked into his account. So I'm going to read this out loud, but basically,
I know you sent it to me.
It's out there. I could hardly find it the first time.
But you sent it to me. I saved it. Where did I put it, DB?
So in the DB, in the database.
I put it in my DB folder.
Don't share that folder.
Oh wait, no, I know you didn't send it to me.
Yeah,
I looked it up myself.
Holman's looking in there right now.
Probably.
Did you find it?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Well done.
Do you say well done to me?
Yep.
Oh.
How does everyone like their steaks, huh? Well done. Are you
No.
a Trump? Are you a Trump staker?
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Here it is. What was I pulling this up for? Oh. How do they not put the date that the actual crime was committed? They only have... Okay, help me. So... Here's how I could do all of this better. No, I'm just kidding. So... This was... Okay, date published. This was published in 2019, and it's a Court of Appeals... Oh, wait, no, it's not. This is the... What is this?
Oops, I was wrong. I said 2021.
So 2019... So the offense... I just want to know when the offense occurred, like when Davies left his stupid fucking thing on his desk. Chain of custody. I don't know. Anyway, it was before 2019.
Okay.
Why did I need to know that, though? There was a reason I was looking.
To see if he was still in the FBI at the time, I think.
Oh, yes. You're right. You're right. So I want to know when did he
leave the task force?
Yeah. Because he was not with the FBI when he joined the task force. I'm positive. He was retired.
Was he a merit detective?
Well,
or was he a merit deputy?
Somebody in the chat said that as a merit deputy, he could be a member of the task force as a merit deputy. Did he get deputized just so that he could be in the task force?
I mean, out of all the reasons I've seen people get deputized today, looking up that merit deputy shit, I think that would be a pretty good reason.
It would be.
Yeah, I mean,
So
in the
you wanted
comparison,
to-
like, on the spectrum of what they've done, to like, they're like, this kid's 16 credits away from getting his bachelor's degree in history. Let's fucking make him a merit deputy. It's like,
Right.
what?
So I don't actually know what I'm asking. I just feel like it's I'm feeling like the investigation was even stupider for even longer, is what I'm feeling, if that makes sense. The investigation conducted by Holman, Vito, Davies, Harshman, obviously, and Harper, the ISP nincompoops, was even fucking dumber for longer than I even anticipated. I thought that it was as dumb as it could get. And not only were they doing nothing for all those years and ignoring investigations, they were also actively pouring resources into the wrong things. And then they arrested somebody they didn't even investigate at all because there was nothing to investigate.
I pretty much agree, but I don't know about the wrong things. Like, ultimately, yes, it was the wrong thing, but like at the time, I think it seemed like a good lead. But it does seem weird. We don't know who the lead investigator on the case was for those 3 years, or the lead agency.
Carroll County.
Seems, yeah, it's just weird.
How so?
Sometimes, well, like if the FBI was the lead investigative agency on that case for 3 years, and then they just decided to turn it over to the state because they didn't want. He probably wouldn't have got so much time. But, well,
You mean Keegan?
Keegan, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, Carroll County was never the lead on that.
Oh yeah, they turned it over to ISP. So like, I wonder if
well, it would
they
have been
ended
Miami County, but yeah, go ahead.
I thought Vito was ISP and he was the lead investigator.
No, he is. I said Carroll County was the lead, and then but Carroll County never touched that case. It would have been Miami County that turned it over to ISP because he lived.
Wait, didn't that PC just say that they were working that case as a part of the Delphi case?
They said that they investigate. So they.
That's how they got there.
It's how they got there. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's relevant. Okay, so blah blah blah. Yeah, so I feel like there was probably something there in those 3 years that would not be subject if they turned it over and the FBI was just like, oh, we're not going to turn some of this stuff over. That's irrelevant to Keegan's case because it's probably about a case that he was actually proven not to be involved in, aka Delphi.
Right.
It wouldn't necessarily be exculpatory because it's not the criminal charges that he was facing were not for that. So then you think about, well, are they going to turn it over for the, like, say that it could be considered exculpatory? Are they just going to go and turn it over willingly to the defense? No.
Rich Davies has been known to reach out to people online too. Come to think of it, I just remembered something.
Phoenix says, I've talked to Rich Davies quite a few times. He's a nice guy.
I'm sure he is a nice guy. A lot of these guys are probably nice guys. They're also incompetent.
Great guys. Great guy. Never met him. You guys get the reference? If you get the reference, say it in chat. Great guy. Never met him. What are we doing here?
I don't know what that's from.
Okay, well, it's been fun, guys. I have to go.
Bye.
I'm going to do an Irish goodbye.
Yeah, do it.
And by saying that you're going to do an Irish goodbye, it's no longer an Irish goodbye.
I think it still is, especially if you go in the middle of like, hey, Michael.
There you go. Some content for you to know that I'm gone.
Okay. If all those law enforcement folks simply missed Rick's statement to Doolin, what are the odds the defense, without the resources of law enforcement, has missed something critically important? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure a lot of stuff.
Oh, man. I wish. Damn, dude. Oh, yeah, dude. They have to go. I need some other time. I'll talk about the 15 terabytes.
Okay. announces his Irish. We would expect nothing less from our favorite baby girl, DB. They said the FBI reached out about a predator. FBI sent it down to local level. So the way that Keegan likely would have come onto the radar, if not directly through Libby's phone, right? So let's say that Libby's phone is not what led them to him originally. Let's say that it was, so NCMEC, like you said, NCMEC is one of like the biggest watchdogs kind of for CSAM material. And if and when, and they also accept tips from people about NCMEC, NCWAC, Paddywhack, about CSAM. So they could have received a tip, or whether that was from an individual or from Comcast. They get, like, for example, they get tips from like internet service providers that also have like nets to, yeah. But so, like, how is my question? How would the ski mask incident lead them to Keegan? Because how? I'm reading the chat. It's not a pregnant pause. I'm just interested in what y'all are saying. So then the ski mask incident leads them to, she was communicating with Anthony Schatz. I see. So they wanted to figure out if it was somebody that she had been communicating with. And so they went into her phone and found Anthony Schatz. And then that led them to Keegan. So then maybe ISP case that's redacted in Keegan's original PC is talking about that case, right? The ski mask case. If you could sit down and talk to one person in the whole investigation and see what they know, who would you talk to? Robert Ives. Dougie's a good one too, but yeah. And Robert Ives at one point seemed quite anxious to talk, or in and around. Oh, Diener. I didn't include Diener in my list of. He sucks on Twitter. I think I'm blocked. Yeah, personal beliefs of Robert Ives totally aside. I do think that at some point early on, I believe you, Percocet. I'm not at all. I actually don't have a whole lot of opinions about like the Anthony Schatz. My only opinion as it relates to Keegan is that he had nothing to do with Delphi. That's really it. And that's not I know a lot of people vehemently disagree with that, and that's totally fine. But everything that you're saying that makes sense. That's a totally reasonable avenue of how they would come up with him. There was another one. Yeah, Diener needs to post. He does. He's not a judge anymore, so yes, Ives has actually tried a lot of murder cases over his tenure. He was a prosecutor. He was deputy prosecutor in like Tippecanoe, and then I think, and then he's been prosecutor in Delphi for a long time. I don't think he did much. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, he's prosecuted a lot of cases. What I've heard about Rob Ives is that he's a good prosecutor. He's an ethical prosecutor. But he's a very conservative prosecutor. Bye, Michael. He has a lot of he has a lot of reservations about pursuing, like he would never prosecute a case unless he was certain that it would be like an easy win. Now, I don't know how true that is. That's just things that I've heard from people. But I find it interesting that he left when he did. Yeah, I don't believe that Ives will be helpful in the context of like the case now as it stands, or helping like Rick or the truth at all. I think if he wanted to be, he would have by now. But I just think if I could sit down with anybody and actually get them to talk to me about it, I would talk to him. I do think he knows a lot of stuff. He's hard not to like, Heather. And my frustration with Ives is that he left. I don't blame him, but I'm frustrated about like, I don't know. At some point, I'm like, in a fairy tale world, he'd like turn defense witness or whatever, but it'll never happen. Yeah, same, Chelsea. You're probably right, Miku. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, I'm sure that's true. Yeah, I also agree with this. He won't talk. He left for a reason. Diener, interesting how nobody wants to talk to Tober Holman. I don't want to talk to either of them, but that's for like very different reasons. Like Tobe Lesenby, I feel he's just, I don't think he's evil and like, I think he's corrupt in his indifference maybe, but I don't think he's like evil like the rest of them. I think he's just kind of lazy. I think he's lazy and he buries his head in the sand, but I think that he's probably also the most likely, like he's the only one that told the truth in those depositions. Like he's the reason that Tony and right. No, I agree with this. I hope that the point I was trying to make isn't lost on everybody, and it probably is, because that's happens when I try and go down a rabbit hole. But my only like reason for bringing up Keegan at all is like, I want to be explicitly clear. I don't think Keegan is involved in the Delphi murders period. I think it's a rabbit hole. I think it's a red herring. I think they had to investigate it, because if what they say is true about him communicating with Libby like that day or even before, then yeah, they absolutely needed to investigate that. I don't think that he is involved in any way. I don't think anything they said in the interrogation should be taken as truth. I think we should give it 0 weight. I'm not saying that. I'm saying something different. I'm saying that the investigators that were investigating Keegan and were very invested in Keegan are now the investigators that are very invested in these confessions out of Rick and using coercive tactics. So perhaps the investigators that were trying to coerce a confession out of Keegan are doing that now with an entirely different suspect. And it's probably because they have a lot invested in a resolution, because they were so fucking wrong. And instead of, but again, it's not that they were wrong, because like a lot of times investigative leads don't lead to the conclusion, right? It doesn't lead to the killer. It doesn't lead to where you want it to, but you still have to investigate it and see it through. And it's like my primary issue with everybody who's touched this case is not that they investigated the wrong leads. It's that they couldn't they couldn't just stop and correct course at any point when they should have. Like they always doubled down. They always dig their heels in. They can't ever admit that they were wrong and correct course. Like at no point. It's like they're so stubborn and ego driven and prideful and stupid that they get like fixated and they will just, it's just frustrating to watch. But anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say tonight. Unless there's anything I forgot. I didn't go over like I didn't talk about like Harshman or Mullen. I probably should have. Railroad, yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think that Tobe Lesenby is the most likely one to be honest, but okay. Well, that's all she wrote, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll talk to you soon.